In a world shaped by magic, demonic caves give rise to terrifying beasts. A swift, shadowy creature darts through the darkness, hunted by a flash of energy. Their ultimate target is the SSS-class demon king, Belphegor, a master of the 5 elements. To combat these threats, the world relies on its strongest awakened squad. Leading the elite divine corps is Bai Yi, a veteran of a decade of brutal warfare. The demon king unleashes its monstrous legion, a tide of pure chaos. Without hesitation, the divine corps charges forward to begin their dangerous operation. This marks their 100th high-level demonic cave, a testament to their experience. Ling Yue, the team's lightning-fast assassin, receives her orders and springs into the fray. She understands the stakes. This has been designated an L-Class Purge operation. The Divine Corps' L-Class Cloud Mage, Han Xiaoling, unleashes a cataclysmic ice spell. L-Class isn't just a mission rank, it's the ultimate test of survival. While the mages control the field, a Golden Warrior prepares a devastating aerial assault. The prize for surviving this hellscape is a much-needed vacation. Lucian, the L-Class Stellar Conductor, channels his power to manipulate gravity itself. His gravity enhancement turns the warrior's descent into an unstoppable high-speed impact. The warrior slams into the demonic horde, unleashing a blinding explosion of golden energy. The very foundations of the cave crack and splinter under the sheer force of the assault. At the center of the devastation stands the leader himself, Bai Yi, his eyes glowing with immense power. With the opening salvo fired, he stands firm, ready to personally lead the charge. A system window confirms his identity: Divine Corps Commander Bai Yi, the L-Class Nuclear Saint. Mission accomplished. A system message confirms the SSS-class Demon King Belphegor has been eliminated. While the younger member stretches in relief, the assassin complains the fight ended too quickly for her taste. A cloaked member reminds the commander that this was a top-rated mission, implying something is amiss. Looking over the carnage, he directly asks Bai Yi if the whole operation felt far too easy. While cleaning his blade, Bai Yi recalls the intel. This Demon King was supposed to have 5 elements and a secret skill. Breaking the serious mood, the assassin Ling Yue casually calls out to her captain. Getting uncomfortably close, she asks if he'll be treating the whole team to a celebratory feast. She then whispers an alternative, suggesting a private outing for just the 2 of them instead. A flustered commander pushes her away, awkwardly declaring that the entire team will celebrate together at their usual place. Ling Yu smirks at her failed attempt to fluster the commander, who remains stoically unimpressed. Suddenly, Bai Yi's sharp gaze narrows as he senses an unexpected presence. His team turns back, wondering why their leader has stopped and is standing alone in the silent aftermath. They casually discuss another teammate's absence, noting his usual habit of slacking off. A colossal shadow falls over them, revealing a 5th figure had been watching from above all along. With a simple gesture, this mysterious newcomer activates a system command: Purge Operation. The figure's eyes gleam with menacing intent from behind a strange, bone-like mask. He raises a single finger, and with a final command, the true operation begins. In an instant, an unseen force strikes the entire Divine Corps, sending them reeling from the impact. The elite squad can only watch in shock, their confident expressions replaced with pure disbelief. The team's mage, Xiaoling, is the first to fall, struck down in the initial devastating blow. The attacker declares this to be his true, divinely assigned mission. Commander Bai Yi finds himself completely paralyzed, his body refusing to obey his commands. The traitor reveals his deception. He's been secretly poisoning their meals for the past month. He summons a monstrous entity, a writhing mass of wood and vines crackling with power. A system window identifies the terrifying ability as a divine skill, Forbidden Vines. He explains this elaborate trap was designed to eliminate the world's strongest warriors. The rest of the Divine Corps is instantly ensnared, their defenses stripped away as the vines render them helpless. He reveals the horrifying truth. The L-Class Purge was a mission to eliminate the Divine Corps itself. The vines violently constrict, neutralizing the team's assassin and gravity manipulator with crushing force. The forbidden vines erupt from the earth, violently flinging the remaining members of the Divine Corps. Commander Bai Yi is caught in their grip, his face a mask of shock and pain as the thorns pierce his defenses. Through the chaos, the traitor's eye glows with an unwavering, merciless light. He looks down on the unfolding tragedy, his expression cold and detached from the suffering he's causing. From the ground, he observes his former teammates suspended helplessly as Bai Yi questions the reason for this betrayal. The commander roars in anguish, demanding to know why his loyal squad is being targeted for elimination. His rage intensifies as he challenges the authority of the god who sanctioned this cruel mission. Bai Yi's voice cracks with fury, questioning by what right they are being subjected to this fate. Unmoved by the commander's desperate plea, the traitor takes a deliberate step forward. He looks upon his struggling captain with disdain, dismissing his former friend's outrage as simple naivety. The traitor hurls the ensnared commander through the air with overwhelming force. He delivers a decisive, brutal blow, questioning if a god even needs a reason for its actions. The vines constrict with lethal intent, their thorns glowing as they pierce the commander's body. With cold precision, the traitor completes his devastating attack on his former leader. Bai Yi questions their decade-long bond, unable to comprehend how a comrade could commit such a betrayal. The traitor scoffs at the notion of family, mocking the commander for not understanding his true purpose. He reveals a shocking truth. A higher power has been manipulating their fates since the very beginning. The traitor declares that the world's strongest heroes were nothing more than pawns in a divine game. He confesses that his entire time with the squad was a calculated performance to earn their trust. For 10 long years, he played his part perfectly, all in preparation for this one final devastating act. The traitor confesses that the commander's unwavering belief in their bond was something he found sickening. With a final decisive act, he brings the era of the Divine Core to a brutal and definitive end. A system message confirms the grim reality. All members are neutralized, and the L-Class purge is complete. Turning his back on the devastation, the traitor declares it's finally time for his long-awaited vacation. But in a shocking twist, Bai Yi's eyes snap open, a flicker of life defying his apparent fate. A strange power surges through the vines as the commander desperately fights back against the encroaching darkness. As his life fades, a mysterious voice echoes from the void, offering the fallen hero an unexpected deal. Bai Yi's consciousness sharpens in the darkness, his determined gaze fixed on this unknown entity. He awakens to find himself bound by heavy chains, questioning his location in this strange, empty realm. The chains wrap tightly around his body, securing him as a prisoner in the mysterious void. A sharply dressed figure emerges from the shadows, radiating a dark charisma. Bai Yi, bound by chains, glares with intense focus and defiance. The figure reveals himself as Belphegor, the supposedly defeated Demon King. Belphegor unleashes a display of elemental power, showcasing his mastery. Bai Yi, still restrained, demands an explanation for this unexpected turn. Belphegor proposes a deal, hinting at a powerful hidden ability. A monstrous entity appears, its energy swirling around the two figures. Belphegor offers Bai Yi a chance to rewrite the past, a tempting proposition. Belphegor's sinister grin suggests the deal comes with a heavy price. Bai Yi contemplates the offer, his expression a mixture of suspicion and desperation. The commander recalls the traitor's innocent beginnings, a stark contrast to his current betrayal. The scene of the betrayal replays in his mind, the traitor looming over his fallen teammates. The traitor's malevolent grin is etched into his memory, a vision of pure evil. The brutal, swift neutralization of his entire team plays out in a chaotic memory. His fury solidifies into a single burning purpose, to make the traitor pay. He understands the true enemy isn't just the traitor, but the divine beings who pulled the strings. The Demon King's grin widens, clearly delighted by the commander's newfound thirst for vengeance. Finding the commander's resolve acceptable, the Demon King offers him another gift. He holds out a pulsating, organic-looking core, calling it a welcoming gift. Despite his desperation, Bai Yi remains cautious, demanding to know the true cost of this alliance. The Demon King simply smirks, finding the commander's caution amusingly predictable. A sharp voice suddenly pierces the void, commanding Bai Yi to awaken from his slumber. He opens his eyes to a stern woman demanding he get on his feet in what appears to be a classroom. A wave of shock washes over him as he realizes the impossible has happened. He's returned. He stares at his own hands, youthful and unscarred, a stark contrast to the warrior he was. The truth dawns on him. He's been sent back to a time before he even gained his powers. His teacher scolds him for sleeping right before his all-important awakening ceremony. He looks up at the familiar face of his old teacher, a ghost from a past he never expected to see again. The reality of his situation solidifies. He is truly a teenager again, back in his middle school days. As he walks to the back of the class, he questions if this incredible second chance was the Demon King's true power. He sits in stunned silence, finding it impossible to believe he's back in his old classroom. A familiar face walks by, the boy who would one day betray him, looking just as he did 20 years ago. The teacher slams her hand on a desk, demanding the class's undivided attention. She begins her lecture on the world's 5 fundamental elements: lightning, flower, cloud, nuclear, and stellar. While the young trader listens, she explains the unbreakable rule that each person can only wield one element. A demonstration of raw power shows how this energy can be shaped and controlled. The teacher proudly showcases her own ability, revealing she possesses the rare cloud element. She elaborates on how these powers create different professions based on combat, support, or special roles. The discussion shifts to the school's strongest team, a formidable group of various elemental warriors. She addresses the students directly, reminding them they are the elite few who have awakened their true potential. She reveals the world has nearly 100 professions, ranked from the lowly dust to the godlike celestial. With an intense expression, she stresses that this is their one and only chance to awaken. The weight of this single, life-altering opportunity settles on the anxious students. She announces that the afternoon ceremony will determine their future profession. Bai Yi listens intently, knowing this single event will decide his entire status in the world. Walking outside, Bai Yi is struck by a wave of nostalgia for the familiar school grounds. He recalls this very spot as the place where his incredible journey first began. His thoughts are interrupted as a familiar, bespectacled student is shoved to the ground nearby. A towering bully scoffs dismissively, drawing a cold stare from Bai Yi. The group of bullies taunts the fallen boy, mocking his reliance on artificial means to awaken his power. The bully pins the student down, mocking his confidence just because he's about to awaken. A system window identifies him as Hongqiang Sheng, a rare red-tier awakener who views everyone else as insects. The frightened student quickly hands over his money, desperately trying to de-escalate the situation. Bai Yi watches from a distance, remembering this bully was a constant nuisance in his past life. He steps forward, observing the bully's aggressive posturing as his cronies watch from the shadows. A stern voice suddenly interrupts the confrontation, calling out the bully by his full name. Their teacher, Teacher Huang, glares with fury, reminding him this is a school, not a shakedown. The bully turns to face her, his expression shifting to one of smug defiance. He immediately tries to shift the blame, claiming the other student was the one at fault. With incredible audacity, he then suggests the student should compensate his friends for the trouble. The bully leans in, disrespectfully telling the teacher her looks are the only thing keeping her employed. Ignoring him, she helps the bullied student while the gang retreats, laughing at the scene. Bai Yi steps forward, his cold gaze stopping the bully in his tracks. Annoyed by the defiance, the bully grabs Bai Yi's shoulder, demanding to know his problem. He shoves Bai Yi aside, vowing to return later to torment the weak. Bai Yi calmly corrects the teacher, insisting the victim wasn't to blame for the incident. He remembers Teacher Huang's kindness, recalling how she supported him after his own awakening. Their moment is interrupted by a call for their class to head to the awakening chamber. Teacher Huang gives her students a final warning, urging them to remain calm during the procedure. Walking with the group, Bai Yi's thoughts drift to the two distinct methods of awakening. He recalls the first method of awakening, a natural process reserved for the gifted few like the bully. This rare power unlocks spontaneously, triggered by moments of extreme emotional intensity. The second, more common method relies on the school's high-tech awakening chamber. A product of scientific genius, it's designed to artificially induce the awakening process. Inside, the chamber overwhelms the senses, stimulating adrenaline and raw emotion. This intense stimulation is designed to forcibly unlock a person's hidden potential. Since this random awakening only happens once, the resulting profession is permanent. Another student emerges exhausted but triumphant, having secured a respectable blue-tier class. Bai Yi understands this is considered life's ultimate reset button, a single chance to change one's fate. With a calm and determined gaze, he steps forward as his name is called for the ceremony. His teacher gives him one last warning, telling him to focus and not slack off like he did in class. Unfazed, Bai Yi simply agrees, his eyes burning with a resolve she can't possibly understand. He recalls his past life, where he awakened as a low-tier nuclear warrior, leading to endless bullying. It wasn't until he reached S rank that he finally unlocked his true rare power. Knowing his element should be nuclear, he wonders what profession this second chance will grant him. As the chamber activates, a bead of sweat rolls down his face, the pressure of the moment immense. A sudden system alert chimes, catching him completely by surprise. The screen flashes with a critical message. The awakening system has encountered an error. Before he can react, another alert declares the impossible. It has detected all 5 elements within him. A searing heat erupts in his chest, a chaotic surge of power he's never felt before. A new system alert flashes before his eyes, announcing the activation of the Infinite Awakening system. The system reveals he can choose his initial class from any of the 5 elements he now possesses. It further explains that by accumulating power, he can unlock new classes or upgrade existing ones. Bai Yi is stunned, struggling to comprehend the concept of elemental accumulation. The incredible truth sinks in. He's not limited to one class, but can acquire multiple over time. He realizes this power gives him access to every class quality, even the legendary celestial tier. The system adds a crucial detail. While his first choice is free, all future classes will be random. He remembers the Demon King's offer, realizing this incredible power was Belphegor's final push. Clutching his chest, he feels the chaotic energy of the Demon King's gift surging within him. A vision of his former comrades in battle flashes before him, a stark reminder of his ultimate goal. He understands this is the power of infinite awakening, a path to limitless potential. A system warning clarifies that his first choice will consume all his current elemental energy. He smirks, knowing this single careful choice will set the stage for his ultimate revenge. Meanwhile, the bully from before wonders impatiently about the delay inside the chamber. Just then, the chamber doors slide open and Bai Yi emerges, drawing everyone's attention. His teacher rushes over, her expression full of hope as she asks about his new class. He looks down, feigning disappointment as he prepares to reveal his unfortunate result. With a sly grin, he reveals he's a low-quality nuclear warrior, deliberately choosing his original underestimated class. The teacher's face falls, her hope instantly turning to pity and disappointment. She quickly recovers, offering him kind words of encouragement and telling him not to give up on his future. Bai Yi brushes off his teacher's sympathy, telling her not to worry about his terrible result. She suggests he rest after the draining ceremony, but he subtly pushes her comforting hand away. Internally, Bai Yi can barely contain his amusement at how easily everyone is falling for his act. The bully interrupts, mocking the teacher's empty words of encouragement about hard work. Bai Yi's expression turns cold as he listens to the familiar, arrogant lecture. The bully challenges the teacher, claiming she knows the world is far crueler than she lets on. He and his gang laugh, declaring that reality doesn't reward effort, only innate strength. Leaning in, the bully explains that a low-rank awakening means Bai Yi is at the absolute bottom. He declares that this is the will of the gods, who only favor the strong and discard the weak. The mention of gods ignites a dangerous fire in Bai Yi's eyes, reminding him of his true enemies. The bully smugly informs the teacher that low-rank students are now relegated to the back of the class. The teacher questions this new rule, while Bai Yi walks beside her with a cold, unreadable expression. With a cruel grin, the bully explains that in this world, the powerless are simply abandoned by society. He elaborates that the strong get all the resources, while the weak are destined to serve them. He sneers at the teacher's belief in hard work, mocking the idea that a low rank can ever become a genius. The teacher's expression hardens as he insists their academy is just a small-scale version of this harsh reality. Leaning in, he taunts her about her own rank, suggesting she's just as trapped in the system as anyone else. He then turns his attention to Bai Yi, telling him to go home and stop wasting everyone's time. But before his hand can land, it's stopped by an iron grip he never saw coming. Bai Yi crushes the cup, sending a shower of liquid into the bully's stunned face. The bully freezes in shock, his face dripping from the unexpected splash. He erupts in fury, demanding to know what the low-rank student thinks he's doing. Bai Yi calmly states that he's simply tired of hearing the bully's voice. The bully's shock turns to a twisted, malicious grin as his anger boils over. He lunges forward, his fist crackling with a violent purple energy aimed right at Bai Yi. The teacher desperately shoves Bai Yi aside, trying to shield him from the incoming blow. A system window identifies the bully's astro-assassin power, an attack meant to be lethal. But Bai Yi's eyes narrow with focus, a golden light reflecting his true hidden power. He effortlessly blocks the attack with a single hand, a system message confirming the impossible feat. The bully stares in utter disbelief, unable to comprehend how his attack was stopped. The bully's arrogant confidence shatters, replaced by pure, unadulterated fury. A system message confirms the impossible as Bai Yi effortlessly deflects the bully's signature move. Bai Yi's gaze is cold and unwavering, his glowing eyes hinting at the true power he's hiding. With a single fluid motion, he unleashes a devastating counter, sending a wave of golden energy at his attacker. The force of the blow sends the bully hurtling across the schoolyard, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. The bully reels from the impact, the force of the hit leaving him stunned and injured. Bloodied and broken, his mind struggles to process how a low-rank nobody could possess such power. Bai Yi stands calmly amidst the aftermath, a mysterious sword now in his hand, leaving everyone to wonder what just happened. The young trader's jaw drops, his own calculations thrown into chaos by this impossible turn of events. The rest of the gang is frozen in fear and confusion, unable to comprehend the power they just witnessed. A system window confirms he deliberately chose the Nucleo Warrior class, which comes with a basic light sword. He smirks with the confidence of a seasoned veteran, claiming he's simply used to this level of combat. The bully dismisses the counterattack as a lucky dodge, refusing to accept what just happened. Enraged, he boasts about his rare abyss rank, declaring himself superior to a supposed low-tier student. His teacher watches in disbelief, realizing that his flawless defense was no mere stroke of luck. Her eyes widen as she recognizes the move as a top-tier skill, exclusive to the most advanced warriors. A system window explains the technique he used was a perfect parry, a move that requires impeccable timing. The system further details that a successful parry can even reflect damage, a feat she knows takes years of practice to master. She struggles to comprehend how a brand new awakener could execute such a high-level maneuver. Bai Yi remains calm and focused, leaving everyone to wonder how he could possess such impossible skill. The bully, Hong Kongsheng, prepares to strike, his Astro Assassin class boosting his stats as he threatens Bai Yi. Enraged, the bully vows to make Bai Yi crawl, but the veteran warrior remains completely unfazed. Bai Yi's eyes narrow, knowing his choice of the weakest class was a deliberate, calculated move. He recalls the harsh reality of his world, where a person's fate is decided at birth. But with a knowing smirk, he promises to show them just how wrong that belief is. A system window details the mechanics of a parry, a high-level skill that can reflect an entire attack. The two powers clash in a burst of energy, as the onlookers wonder if a real fight is about to break out. The bully's cronies realize their leader is breaking a major school rule by fighting in public. They smirk, knowing the bully's powerful family connections mean he'll face no consequences. The bullied student panics, realizing this is a trap designed to get the seemingly defenseless Bai Yi expelled. The teacher looks on with deep concern, sensing the situation is about to spiral out of control. She bravely steps between them, trying to de-escalate by reminding them they are all future comrades. The bully furiously rejects her attempt at peace, refusing to let Bai Yi's public defiance go unanswered. His power flares as he vows to teach the low-rank student a brutal lesson about the hierarchy of the world. With a twisted grin, he promises to demonstrate the insurmountable chasm that separates them. The teacher silently agrees, knowing the massive power difference comes from their inherent attribute bonuses. A system window confirms Bai Yi's dust rank class provides no attribute bonus, leaving him at base power. She explains that while a Glimmer rank gets a 150% boost, an Abyss rank's bonus is far greater. The bully's own stats are revealed, showing his Abyss rank grants him a massive 200% attribute bonus. He looms over Bai Yi, declaring that the gap between them is absolute and can never be overcome. The bullied student watches on, convinced Bai Yi is hopelessly outmatched in both power and social standing. He questions Bai Yi's foolish decision to provoke a far stronger opponent, despite despising the bully's actions. His internal monologue reveals a grim worldview. Survival means learning to avoid dangerous people. He believes that when confrontation is unavoidable, the weak are destined to be trampled. The only path forward in his mind is to swallow one's pride and endure the humiliation. He concludes that direct confrontation is the most foolish choice, a lesson he's clearly learned the hard way. Meanwhile, the bully activates his ferocity skill, his power surging as he prepares to deliver a lesson in pain. Their teacher desperately cries out, trying to intervene before the situation escalates further. Bai Yi braces for the impact, as his teacher worries that his parry won't hold against such overwhelming speed and power. With a vicious grin, the bully unleashes his full power, certain there's no escape from this final blow. Bai Yi smirks, wondering why he would ever need to dodge. The bully activates his swiftness skill, but the veteran warrior sees no reason to move. In a flash of golden light, he uses a high-level skill, instantly appearing behind his attacker. The bully whirls around in disbelief, unable to comprehend how his target vanished. His arrogant expression shatters, replaced by pure shock as he realizes he's been outmaneuvered. With a single, precise blow from his sword's hilt, Bai Yi sends his opponent stumbling forward. He looks down on the fallen bully with utter contempt, dismissing him completely. Bai Yi coldly remarks that some people belong on the ground, leaving the bully humiliated. The surrounding students are baffled, wondering if the school's top bully simply tripped over his own feet. Even their teacher is stunned, admitting to the others that she couldn't follow the lightning-fast exchange. The teacher's confusion deepens, realizing the move he used was far beyond a beginner's skill. The system confirms the bully had activated his unique swiftness skill, expecting an easy victory. But Bai Yi's counter was flash blink, an advanced technique that allows for instantaneous movement. In the blink of an eye, the bully is left bleeding on the ground, defeated by a single, effortless move. The class president, Chi Yin, analyzes the fight, recognizing his flawless execution of high-level warrior techniques. The young trader observes the outcome, calculating how Bai Yi humiliated the bully while cleverly avoiding official punishment. A single thought echoes through the crowd, a question on everyone's mind. What in the world happened to Bai Yi? A system alert flashes, confirming he's gained not only experience but also astro element points, fueling his unique power. He dismisses the reward as too small, already planning his next move, clearing labyrinths for greater power. Refusing to accept his defeat, the bully struggles to his feet, vowing that their confrontation is far from over. The bully grips his sword, his knuckles white with rage, refusing to accept his humiliation. He lunges forward, his power flaring as he vows to end Bai Yi for good. But a sharp voice cuts through the tension, stopping the bully in his tracks. An imposing figure arrives, identified as Hong Liang, the dean of the junior high division. The bully's anger turns to shock as he recognizes the dean as his own uncle, while Bai Yi's expression hardens. The dean quickly dismisses the onlookers, telling the students to stop gawking and head home. He encourages them to share news of their awakening, effectively ending the public confrontation. The mention of home strikes a chord with Bai Yi, reminding him of everything he's lost and is fighting for. The dean's sharp gaze then falls upon the two remaining students, his patience clearly worn thin. He grabs Bai Yi by the hair, lecturing him on school rules, completely unaware of the ancient warrior he's manhandling. A critical memory strikes Bai Yi, reminding him of another major event that happened on this very day. He panics, realizing he's forgotten the single most important detail of his awakening day. Without warning, he breaks free from the dean's grip and sprints away with newfound urgency. The dean turns to teacher Huang, his expression hardening as he prepares to lecture her. He issues a sharp warning about her students' behavior before deciding to let the matter drop. Defeated, teacher Huang can only bow her head and offer a silent apology for the disruption. Later, the bully stands before his uncle in the dean's office, ready for a private discussion. He seethes with rage, blaming his humiliating defeat on a simple stroke of luck. The dean slams his hand on the desk, his patience wearing thin with his nephew's excuses. His eyes glowing, he reveals the bully's ignorance, asking if he truly understood what happened during the fight. The dean reveals that Bai Yi didn't just dodge, he used the advanced skill Flash Blink. He explains that in that instant, Bai Yi pinpointed his nephew's weakest spot and shattered his defense with a single precise strike. The dean admits that even with 15 years of battlefield experience, he couldn't execute such basic moves with that level of perfection. He scolds his nephew, comparing the fight to a professional gamer effortlessly defeating a complete novice. The dean warns him that Bai Yi is far more dangerous than he appears as the young warrior sprints through the city. As he runs, Bai Yi pushes aside thoughts of revenge, focusing on the one thing he absolutely must do. He skids to a halt in front of a familiar apartment building, his destination clear. Catching his breath, he steels himself, knowing what he's come here to prevent. A horrifying memory surfaces, a scene of destruction, a menacing figure, and a terrified child. The weight of that dark past settles on him as he stares up at the building, ready to change history. He steels his resolve, prepared to risk everything to prevent the tragedy he knows is coming. A system window displays his current stats, confirming his deliberately chosen low-rank Nucleo Warrior class. The system details how his advanced Flash Blink skill is an evolution of the basic swiftness ability. In contrast, the bully's stats show a massive 200% attribute bonus, making him far stronger on paper. Inside the apartment, a man watches television, the date confirming this is the fateful day Bai Yi remembers. The man bursts into laughter, completely oblivious to the impending danger. Through the window, a woman with white-streaked hair washes dishes, a picture of domestic peace. Bai Yi's reflection appears in the glass as he watches his mother, a ghost from his past. He steps inside the apartment, and the man on the couch casually greets him, noting his early return. Bai Yi stands silently, his fists clenched as his father's words hang in the air. He gazes through the window at his mother, a sight he thought he'd never see again. Overwhelmed with emotion, tears well up in his eyes at the sight of her. She greets him with a warm smile, her expression filled with relief that he is safe. In the familiar kitchen, she offers him a meal, a simple act that means the world to him. Using sign language, she lovingly tells him she's prepared his favorite dish. His expression hardens with resolve as a new plan forms in his mind. He puts on a smile, suddenly suggesting they go out for a different meal instead. She hesitates, gently signing that she's already cooked for him and they could go tomorrow. With an unwavering gaze, he insists they must go out to eat today. She playfully gives in to his stubborn request, wiping her hands as she agrees to his whim. He offers to accompany his mother as she prepares to leave the apartment. His father, lounging on the couch, dismissively tells him his mother can go by herself. He then questions his son's attitude, annoyed that he didn't greet him upon returning home. His father then recalls that today was the all-important awakening day. Leaning forward with a greedy smile, he eagerly demands to hear the good news about his son's new class. He grabs a bottle from the fridge, clearly ready to celebrate his son's expected success. A system window reveals the father is a powerful C-class electric warrior who came home early just for this celebration. Bai Yi's expression darkens as he lies, claiming he didn't get to awaken today. He fabricates a story explaining that the ceremony ran late and he missed his chance. His father's face twists with disappointment and anger, comparing him to another boy who awakened with a high-rank class. The father scoffs, dismissing both himself and his son as complete failures. He boasts about his own high-rank awakening, expecting his son to have achieved at least an abyss-rank class. Taking an aggressive step forward, he reminds Bai Yi of all the sacrifices he made to raise him. His face twists with rage as he looms over his son, demanding to know the truth about his class. The father's menacing aura flares, but Bai Yi stands firm, a subtle energy crackling around his own fist. Under the immense pressure, Bai Yi's resolve wavers as he prepares to admit the truth. In a fit of rage, the father smashes the bottle over his son's head. He coldly reveals he knows the truth, sneering at his son's newly awakened dust-rank status. The father's fury explodes as he accuses Bai Yi of intentionally disgracing him with such a worthless result. Bai Yi's gaze hardens, acknowledging the harsh reality that this powerful, abusive man is his father. He recalls his father's violent nature, a man unable to control his explosive emotions. A painful memory resurfaces, reminding him of the tragedy that unfolded on this very day in his past life. His father's shame over his son's low rank had previously sparked a devastating fight at home. Just as before, his mother instinctively moved to protect him from the escalating conflict. In his youth, he was too weak and afraid to stop his father's destructive rage. The man's fury was unleashed upon his mother, who bore the brunt of his disappointment. That day left his mother with permanent injuries, a consequence he is determined to prevent now. The image of his younger self, bloodied and helpless, fuels his current resolve. Back in the present, his father stands over him, disgusted by his son's apparent failure. But a system window reveals the truth. He is an E-class nuclear warrior, already far stronger than anyone suspects. He internally admits he chose this class for its potential, but needs more time before he can reveal his true strength. A system window reveals his father is a C-class abyss-rank warrior with a staggering 400% attribute boost. Unlike the inexperienced bully, his father is a seasoned warrior with terrifying power. He grimly accepts the truth. At his current level, he's no match for his father's strength. The father's rage intensifies, his grip tightening as he refuses to accept his son's perceived failure. An intense blow lands, solidifying Bai Yi's resolve to get his mother out of the house at all costs. He endures the onslaught, finding a small victory in the belief that he managed to get his mother to safety. But just outside the door, dropped groceries signal his mother never actually left. His head snaps up in horror, his desperate plan completely falling apart. His mother stands frozen in the doorway, witnessing the terrifying scene as her husband's violent power flares. The spilled noodles on the floor signal his mother's unexpected return. Bai Yi's panic turns to despair, realizing his mother came back out of concern for him. He remembers her loving nature, always rushing to make sure he was taken care of. His mother freezes in terror, her return met with a scene of domestic turmoil. The father's rage shifts to his wife, blaming her for their son's supposed weakness. A system window reveals Bai Yi's true stats, a 100% boost he's keeping hidden. In stark contrast, his father's stats show a terrifying 400% attribute bonus. The scene shifts to an interrogation, discussing an unprecedented early advancement. A shackled prisoner is questioned about how he broke the established rules of progression. The interrogator smirks, revealing the prisoner didn't just advance, but leaped to a legendary platinum tier. A flashback reveals Bai Yi in his past life, sitting on death row after being arrested. He recalls the man he killed, insisting that his actions were completely justified. The memory of his father's unforgivable act against his mother burns in his mind. Back in the present, Bai Yi's face is a mask of horror as history begins to repeat itself. His father turns his explosive rage towards his mother, who stands defenseless before him. A devastating power-infused blow is unleashed in the small apartment. The scene blurs with the speed and force of the violent outburst. A grim reminder shows the fatal consequences of an awakened person attacking an ordinary human. In his past, the young and powerless Bai Yi was left broken on the floor after the incident. His mother's desperate attempt to shield him is met with brutal, overwhelming force. His mother cries out, rushing to shield her injured son from his father's wrath. In the past, his father had coldly remarked on the lethal potential of an awakened person's power. The father recalls the immense joy he felt upon learning he would finally have a son to carry on his legacy. That hope has now curdled into fury, as he believed Bai Yi was the key to restoring the family's honor. He stands over them, boasting that he, Bai Lingsheng, was the only one who could produce a male heir. His rage turns on his wife, screaming that he is the one who must bring glory to their ancestors. Bai Yi's eyes fill with tears of rage and despair, questioning why fate is forcing him to relive this nightmare. The father's fury explodes, unable to accept that his son awakened with such a low-tier, worthless class.
He turns his blame entirely on his wife, raising his hand to punish her for their son's perceived failure.
She braces for the devastating blow, caught in the crossfire of her husband's violent disappointment. A system window reveals his flash blink skill, an advanced technique that allows for instant teleportation. But this time, Bai Yi moves in a flash, intercepting the blow meant for his mother. His eyes burn with a cold fury, a stark contrast to the helpless boy he once was. He now stands as a shield, his sword drawn to protect his mother from his father's wrath. Bloodied but unbroken, he issues a silent, deadly warning with his gaze. His father's rage turns to amusement, intrigued by his son's sudden defiance. His mother cries out in terror, caught between her enraged husband and her defiant son. The father's grin widens, welcoming the challenge with a surge of violent energy. The small apartment becomes a battlefield with the family's fate hanging in the balance. Bai Yi steels himself for the fight, knowing he must hold out just a little longer. Bai Yi struggles to hold his ground, his sword the only thing between him and his father's overwhelming power. A system window reveals his parry skill, a high-risk move that could turn the tables if timed perfectly. But the sheer force of the attack shatters his sword, his defense completely broken. The impact sends him flying, a brutal lesson in the massive power gap between them. A system window confirms the terrifying truth. His father is a C-rank warrior with a staggering 400% attribute bonus. He crashes to the ground, the force of the blow leaving him bloodied and severely injured. His father's rage intensifies, unleashing a crackling aura of black lightning as he questions his son's defiance. His mother can only watch in terror as her husband grabs their son, his violent power surging. The father's face twists into a malicious grin, mocking his son's futile attempt to fight back. Refusing to back down, Bai Yi braces for the next attack, determined to endure the punishment. The father sneers at his son's defiance, declaring his weak profession makes him worthless. Bloodied but resolute, Bai Yi clenches his fist, vowing to prevent the tragedy of his past from repeating. Enraged, his father grabs a nearby chair, questioning his son's sudden audacity. As his mother shields him, the father's power flares, ready to deliver a brutal lesson on authority. A sudden, loud banging on the door interrupts the violent confrontation. Annoyed by the interruption, the father glares towards the door while his wife comforts their injured son. Cradled in his mother's arms, Bai Yi looks up with grim satisfaction, knowing his saviors have arrived. The father's fury shifts to the door as he demands to know who dares to interrupt him. Two uniformed officers from the inspectorate stand at the door, their presence immediately changing the atmosphere. The father's aggressive demeanor vanishes, replaced by shock as he recognizes the high-ranking deputy captain. The officer explains they're conducting a house-to-house search for a wanted criminal. He shows a wanted poster for a dangerous fugitive known only as Snow. The father laughs dismissively, assuring the officer he'd report any such person immediately. The mother shields her son, whose bloodied face tells a very different story. The deputy captain's sharp eyes catch sight of Bai Yi's injuries, demanding an explanation. The father quickly concocts a lie, claiming his son was simply clumsy and fell, but Bai Yi refuses to stay silent, his furious gaze revealing the truth of his father's actions. The father's composure shatters, his expression twisting with rage at being exposed. A system window explains a rare phenomenon called advancement, a second awakening that grants immense power. The scene flashes back 18 minutes, revealing the events that led to the inspectorate's arrival. Bai Yi reveals his master plan. He anonymously reported a wanted criminal to lure the inspectorate to his apartment. The father desperately tries to lie, claiming his son's injuries are just a misunderstanding. But Bai Yi calmly lists every injury inflicted upon him, offering himself as evidence for an official assessment. The officer's cold, silent stare makes the father's excuses fall completely flat. Bai Yi mentally recites the law, knowing that violent awakened individuals who pose a danger face immediate detention. The officers are stunned by the young man's detailed knowledge of the awakened management regulations. The father's face contorts with rage, unable to believe his own son has so thoroughly outmaneuvered him. With the evidence undeniable, the deputy captain formally places the father under arrest. The father erupts in a violent rage as he's being restrained, forcing the officers to use control measures. As he's dragged away, he screams a final, chilling threat at his son, promising retribution. With his father gone, Bai Yi and his mother are left alone in the now quiet apartment. Bloodied but resolute, he turns to his mother, his expression unwavering. Overcome with emotion, she embraces him tightly, and he returns the hug with a comforting hold. He savors the small victory, knowing he finally managed to protect her this time. He promises her this is the last time she'll ever have to worry, vowing to use the next 15 days to grow stronger. His hand clenches with fierce determination, a silent vow to never be helpless again. He reveals his true motive. He endured the beating just to swipe a crucial key from his father. The blood-stained key in his hand is the prize he paid for with his own pain. He recalls how his father used the contents of that safe to betray his own comrades. That betrayal was the very source of his father's power, allowing him to climb from E-class to C-class. With the key secured, Bai Yi sneaks into his father's room to find the hidden safe. He knows the item he seeks is locked away in a secret compartment his father guarded closely. This secret was so well kept that not even his own family knew of its existence. In his past life, he only discovered this secret after his father was already gone. Inside, he finds a powerful dagger, the key to his plan to solo the dangerous demon's den. He knows that demon dens are the only way to level up, but they're all controlled by a powerful guild. His only option is to use the dens managed by his school, but he has a better idea. A memory from his past life guides him to a secret, uncharted location known as a hidden demon den. He stands before a ruined building, a place of unknown level and difficulty that holds immense potential. With a look of fierce determination, he vows to use this opportunity to surpass everyone in his path. A system window explains that demon dens are monster-filled zones where warriors level up. The system also clarifies the profession ranks, ranging from the lowest E-class to the elite A-class. The scene shifts to the inspectorate's detention room later that same night. Inside, officers discuss a false alarm that put the entire guard team on high alert. An officer glances at the imprisoned father, noting they can never be too careful when dealing with rebels. A wanted poster reveals the target of their search, a dangerous fugitive known as Snow. Two junior officers gossip about their captain's early return, but are quickly silenced by their superior. Meanwhile, Bai Yi's father desperately pleads for mercy from the vice captain, rattling the bars of his cell. He then shifts to a slimy attempt at bribery, offering a special deal for the officer's expectant wife. The vice captain glares back, unimpressed by the pathetic attempt from a former guild member. The officer coldly asks the imprisoned man if he understands how he brought this upon himself. Bai Yi's father is left speechless, his hands trembling on the bars of his cell. With a smirk, the officer warns that bribery carries a much harsher sentence than simple detention. He then slams the door shut, telling the disgraced warrior to await his transfer to a high-security prison. Left alone in the dark, the father's rage explodes, his power flaring as he seethes over his son's betrayal. Back in his room, Bai Yi knows he only has 15 days until his father is released, creating a tight deadline. He realizes that to gain power quickly, venturing into a demon den is his only viable option. These dens are dangerous parallel dimensions, gateways to monster-filled realms that can appear anywhere. Armed with his new dagger and knowledge from the future, he enters a hidden gate to one such den. He recalls that most discovered dens are monopolized by powerful guilds, making them inaccessible to lone warriors like him. He knows these lairs are filled with monsters and valuable resources, the perfect place for an awakened to level up. But these zones are so dangerous that they're usually tackled by officially inspected teams, not solo adventurers. Thanks to his past life, he knows this specific den wasn't discovered for another 5 years. A system window explains that even a low F-rank dungeon typically requires a team of 3. Higher-rank dungeons demand even larger, more powerful parties to clear them safely. Based on his future knowledge, Bai Yi calculates this hidden den is likely a manageable F-rank. He steps toward the glowing red portal, knowing this is the only dungeon he can access right now. From the shadows, the claw of an unseen creature hints at the dangers lurking within. He steels himself, aware that entering a den alone is a massive, life-threatening risk. But with no other choice, he ignites his power, determined to get stronger on his own, and fast. A A system window confirms his entry, displaying his E-rank stats as he steps into the unknown danger. He finds himself in a frozen wasteland, realizing he's entered the territory of ice elemental monsters. The young warrior ventures deeper into the desolate, snow-swept canyon, completely alone. He stumbles upon a massive, hibernating ice beast, surrounded by the skeletal remains of past intruders. With a confident smirk, he identifies the creature as a low-level, hibernating icefield bear. Suddenly, a massive paw slices through the air, a blur of speed and deadly force. He narrowly dodges the surprise attack, realizing his calculations were wrong. This is a much deadlier E-rank den. His eyes narrow as he theorizes the den's secret was kept safe by its hibernating inhabitants. An E-rank bloodthirsty forest wolf lunges at him, a creature whose power level already surpasses his own. The beast closes the distance in an instant, its fangs bared for a lethal strike. He dives from above, dagger first, aiming a precise strike at the beast. With a confident grin, he meets the wolf's lunge head-on, ready to counter. The two clash in a blur of motion, the enraged beast unable to land a hit. He sidesteps the snapping jaws, his movements fluid and impossibly fast. Sliding beneath the beast, he unleashes a devastating upward slash with his glowing dagger. The wolf falls in a single, clean strike, leaving Bai Yi to continue his hunt. A system window reveals his A-rank blade is the only reason he can even damage these high-defense monsters. He smugly recalls his past life, missing the days when he was an all-powerful L-rank warrior. A system notification confirms he's gained experience, but the grind to level up will be a long one. His moment of reflection is cut short, as the shadows reveal he's now surrounded by an entire wolf pack. The pack is led by a massive red-eyed, bloodthirsty wolf king, a level 14 beast far stronger than the rest. He realizes the scent of blood from his last kill has drawn the entire pack to his location. His expression darkens as he understands the wolves are preparing to swarm him all at once.